I'm delighted to be joined by Jerry Azumah, a Chicago Bears legend, here today for the Girls Flag League. And I know 100% that you'll be hoping that Chicago Bears get the victory here today.
Yes, I'm very excited for the opportunity that the Chicago Bears have. I would definitely want to see some victories. That's why I come to these games. I want to see W's. I want to see some wins, and we have a great opportunity to do that.
I can imagine these girls, they must have been impressing you today, right?
Yeah, these girls have been fantastic. Um, it's really very interesting to see that the game grow the way that it is. Flag football has obviously come to the Olympics, as we know. And then coming over to London and seeing all these girls competing at this level has been tremendous. It's given them another opportunity to kind of showcase their talents and their abilities and play another sport. A sport that they didn't grow up playing and probably didn't play until probably about a month ago. So the the world is basically catching up with flag football, and it's great to see that it's hidden over in London and on all cylinders.
And I know when you were a child, you were watching Walter Payton and players like that. Obviously, you've gone on now to almost be that role for these young girls coming through. So, can you tell me a little bit about your favorite memories watching Walter and the advice you have for these girls today?
Right. Well, the reason why I was running back is because I wanted to be Walter Payton. So he was very instrumental in my life growing up as a running back. Unfortunately, after college, I got drafted. Well, not unfortunately, but unfortunately, I didn't play running back, at the next level, for the Chicago Bears. So that would have been something extremely special. But I definitely enjoyed my time and cherished my time here as a Chicago Bear. Learned a lot, got to play against some incredible people, got to meet a lot of interesting people that were teammates that are now a part of my family. So that part of my life is just tremendous, and it's something I'll never forget.
I can imagine. And obviously, on the one hand, Walter was a massive hero for you. And on the
Yeah.
other, I know your dad played a very instrumental role in your upbringing and your career in the NFL. So, can you tell me a little bit about the advice he gave you, especially when you were going through hard times and you're on the bench and he essentially
Right.
helped you make that next level?
Right. Yeah. My father was definitely that guiding light. You know, he's a immigrant from Ghana, West Africa. So, naturally he wanted me to play soccer. So he rolled me a soccer ball. I picked it up. I started running. I started hitting people. So that was kind of like my first practice to football. But, you know, getting to where I got to, it didn't come easy. It came with a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of patience. And my father was just very instrumental in all of that stuff. And I actually, in high school, I didn't really get to play until my senior year. And then that was a hard lesson learned because we were a good football team, but at the same time, they always played the upperclassmen. So I had to sit the bench and just basically wait my time. And I told my father at one point, like, I don't really want to do this anymore because I wasn't getting the shine that I believed that I deserved. And my father was like, you know what, just be patient, just relax, be confident in yourself. You know what you can do. Just relax. When your time comes, just be the best at it. And it did. And he was extremely right. And then when I got to the NFL, I thought I was going to be a running back, but I got drafted to be a defensive back. So it's a position that I've never done before, ever in my life. And then I'm doing it at the highest level. So the transition for that was extremely difficult. And it got to a point where I almost like didn't trust like what I was doing anymore. And my father was instrumental in bringing me back and saying, you know what, like they could have easily drafted a defensive back instead of me. I won the Walter Payton Award, so I know how to play football. And this is just a different aspect of football. So just kind of believe in myself, be patient, and seize the moment and take advantage of the opportunity. So my father was very instrumental in my upbringing, not only with football, but just in life in general. So he's instilled a lot of great values in me.
And can you remember your time back at the combine? Because that must have been an incredibly interesting period. You go in, you're sizing up the likes of Ricky Williams or all these alpha males competing to make it to the next level. So what was that
Yeah.
like?
It was great because I went to the University of New Hampshire, so it was a smaller school, but we had a lot of football minds and we had a lot of great football players that went on and played in the NFL as well. But it was difficult, because I knew that being at UNH was uh, it wasn't a big like Alabama or anything like that. So I knew that I'd have to put extra work into it. But when I got to the combine, it was like we were all equal. So I got to see, Edrin James and Ricky Williams and people like that and actually kind of size them up and they sized me up. And I performed, at a high level to the level where I got drafted. So The combine was very special. I mean, there's only about 250 or 300 guys that get, invited to the combine. And from there, there's like, 200 people that get, or 275 people that get drafted or whatever it is. So the numbers are very, very slim. And, you know, it's not really easy to make a football team at that level, but I was able to, get over the hurdle and conquer all the difficulties and odds, and then make the transition, from offense to defense. So, it was a lot of work, but the combine was definitely a good experience because I got to see exactly how I fit in with those guys that are going to be, big time football players at the next level.
Fantastic. And as a closing question, I'm going to look at two really important aspects of your life. Do you have one Chicago Bears memory that stands out as your favorite of all time? And away from the sport, what you've gone on to do, so many fantastic causes. Can you tell me a bit about your philanthropy work?
Right. I mean, there's several things I can remember that were fantastic memories with the Chicago Bears from, the playoff games and, getting interceptions and getting sacks. Um, the most important thing that I always remember from my playing days is the camaraderie that I had with the guys in the locker room. Like that was just very special. But I would say probably um, the biggest moment was not really a play that happened on the football field, but just running out the tunnel for the first time as a Chicago Bear. I mean, I grew up, being a Walter Payton fan. And that was the love of why I wanted to be a running back. And why I wanted to basically play football was because of Walter Payton. So to don, that C on the helmet and run out that tunnel and then see my parents when I was little, I said, you know what, one day I'm going to be a Chicago Bear and I'm going to play football, and to see it all happen and then just to look my parents in their face, and look them in the eye and just see their emotions. It was a very, very special moment. So I don't know if it's a football thing, if it's really football related, but just running out that tunnel for the first time and seeing my family and us having that like instant connection, that instant bond of like a lifetime. It was like a lifetime moment, just fit into one freeze frame. And that was very, very special. So that's something I'll always remember.